what if I told you the way you work today, switching between PowerPoint, your calendar, your files, your browser, is about to look as outdated as faxing a document? Anthropic released something that lets you queue up 6 different tasks, walk away, come back to finished work. No code, no prompts, just results, and I've been using it all week. Here's the thing that really got me. They built this entire product in 10 days. Not 10 months, not 10 weeks, just 10 days. And they built it using their own AI. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what Claude Co-work is, why it matters more than any AI launch in the past year, and how you can start using it to completely transform the way you get things done. Let's get into it. Developers were using Claude Code to organize their expense receipts, and that single observation launched an entirely new product. Here's what happened. Anthropic launched Claude Code as a terminal-based coding agent. Engineers used it to write software, debug production issues, refactor legacy code bases. It sat in terminal because that's where developers live. And the numbers were insane. We're talking about 195 million lines of codes processed weekly, 115,000 developers actively using the tool, a 65% increase in merge pull requests per engineer per day. But then Anthropic's product team noticed something weird in usage data. People weren't just writing codes, they were pointing Claude Code at folders full of receipts and asked it to produce expense spreadsheets. They were organizing vacation photos, cleaning up messy download directories, doing research synthesis, transcript analysis, and file management. Anything that could be expressed, here are some files, here what I want, make it happen. Now a traditional product team might treat this as a scope creep. But Anthropic did something different. They said, we're going to build it, and they did it, roughly in a week and a half. That speed matters more than anything else about this launch because it reveals how AI-native organizations actually operate now, and that operational velocity is becoming as much a competitive advantage as models themselves. But here's where it gets really interesting. A Google engineer's post got 5.4 million views because she admitted something shocking about Anthropic's tool. Jaana Dogan is a principal engineer at Google. She works on Gemini API team. Yes, Google's competing AI product. She posted on X, I'm not joking and this isn't funny. We've been trying to build distributed agent orchestrators at Google since last year. There are various options, not everyone is aligned. I gave Claude Code a description of the problem. It generated what we built last year in an hour. 5.4 million views, a Google's engineer publicly praising a competitor's tool, and here's what it makes it even more interesting. She later clarified it as a decent toy version, not production-ready code. But the fact that Claude could independently drive the correct architecture approach and prototyped it that quickly, that's what shocked her. Paul Graham, co-founder of Y Combinator, responds with something profound. He said it illustrates an aspect of AI that hadn't thought about till now. It cuts through bureaucracy. If indecision paralyzes a big organization, AI doesn't care. It will happily generate a version 1. That same power is now available to people who've never written a single line of code, and that brings us to what Co-work actually does. Co-work keeps everything that made Claude Code powerful but wraps it in an interface that anyone can use. You point it at a folder using a simple click and select interface. You describe what you want in a plain English, and then you literally walk away. It makes a plan, it shows you the plan, and executes the plan autonomously, and it loops you in on progress, just like Claude Code does for developers, but you're not touching a terminal. Here's what really shifts the experience. You can queue up multiple tasks and let Claude work through them in parallel. This feels less like having conversation and more like leaving messages for a coworker. Instead of saying, I'm going to have a long-running iterative chat and trying to prompt everything exactly right, you're thinking, I have 6 different things, need done. Let me just type 6 different messages and kick off 6 different threads, and the agent works on all of them at once. That is fundamentally a different relationship with AI. If you're finding this breakdown helpful, make sure you subscribe. I'm covering the most important developments in AI tools every week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Simon Willison, a well-known UK developer, tested Co-work on his bug drafts folder. He had 46 unpublished draft files from the past 3 months. Co-work ran 44 spreadsheet searches to figure out which drafts had already been published elsewhere, then gave him a prioritized list of which ones were closest to being ready. called it a general agent that looks well positioned to bringing wildly powerful capabilities of Claude Code to a wider audience. And then he added, I would be very surprised if Gemini and OpenAI don't follow suit with their own offering in this category. Now, there's one thing that early testers have noticed that you should know about it. Early testers are calling it wood chipper effect. Here's what that means for your subscription. Co-work is powerful, and powerful means resource intensive. Early users have nicknamed a heavy consumption of subscription limits the wood chipper effect. You feed it tasks and it chews through your usage allocation fast. Right now, Co-work is available on Max Plan, that is the $100 to $200 per month tier. It is also rolled out to Pro subscription at $20 per month, and it's now available to Teams and Enterprise. Is it worth it? That depends entirely on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're someone who deals with file management, document creation, research synthesis, and any kind of multi-step workflow that touches your local files, this could genuinely save you hours every week. But here's something more important happening here, and it has to do with why this architecture matters so much more than the interface. Here's the insight that most people are missing. Microsoft Copilot lives in browser and cloud. Google Workspace AI lives in browser and cloud. Most AI tools operate through web interfaces. Co-work is different. It operates in file system level first and can also use the browser. The interaction surface is the folders on your local machine plus anything it can touch on web. Why does that matter? Browser agents are constrained by the adversarial nature of the web. Sites can block them, CAPTCHAs can stop them, login flows break them constantly. Every interaction is mediated by the interface designed for humans, maintained by companies that have no particular interest in making life easier for AI agents. File system agents operate in territory that's entirely yours. Your files don't have bot detection, your folders don't require authentication, your agent can read, write, and execute with permissions you explicitly grant. The environment is cooperative rather than adversarial. Anthropic's bet is that long-term, most valuable knowledge work ends up living in your files, your docs, spreadsheets, note receives, recording, and processing those artifacts is where the real productivity leverage sits. This is why the industry analysts are calling 2026 the crossover year, where the primary interface for technology shifts from search bar to command line of an autonomous agent. So what does this actually mean for how you work? First, the chatbot was a transitional form. It existed because language models could generate text before they could reliably execute plans. That is changing. Claude Code proves that agentic execution works not just for software engineering, but for everything. Second, task queues are going to start replacing chat interfaces. The Co-work model, where you queue up tasks, let Claude work through them in parallel, get notified on completion, is closer to an email inbox or ticketing system than a conversation. That is a fundamental shift in the relationship between humans and AI. You're not having a conversation anymore. You're delegating, the AI executes, you review. Third, this is critical. Verification becomes the scarce skill. When AI can execute multi-step workflows in parallel, the bottleneck shifts to knowing whether the output is correct and whether you formed the task correctly in the first place. The tool amplifies people who already know what they're doing. It can potentially mislead people who don't. This is why AI fluency matters so much right now. Speaking of AI fluency, if you want to stay ahead of these developments, I break down the most important AI tools and techniques every week on this channel. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Let me leave you with one thought. What happens when a product team can observe user behavior on Monday and ship a fully fledged product by Thursday? That is the things that keep sticking with me. 10 days, they built it with Claude Code, and now the same power is available to everyone, not terminal required. If you've had friends telling you try Claude Code, but you've been resisting because you're not a terminal person, this is your moment. Co-work is the friendly interface wrapped around that same incredible engine. The future of work looks like jumping between multiple tasks, delegating entire workflows, and coming back to finish results. It looks like asking for a briefing on your day, metrics from your dashboards, or final polish on your presentation, all done in one place. This is a cruise missile aimed at the heart of a knowledge work, and it just launched. And if you want to see exactly how Co-work looks in action, I've got a full hands-on walkthrough coming soon. Make sure you subscribe with notification on so you can catch when it drops. Good luck out there and get on Claude Co-work. It is totally worth it.